So I thought I'd do a bit of an origin story about sort of how I got into web design and became a Webflow partner for other people that are thinking about getting into it. First and foremost, I would highly recommend it. I do think you have to have a certain level of kind of like creativity mixed with like logical thinking and like strategic, and obviously you need to be able to communicate as well. So that's a huge thing. But obviously, ChatGPT can help with the communication, and I do think that you learn as you go along massively with this business. But yeah, I mean, I started coding when I was I'm 25 now, so I started coding. I always had a bit of a fascination with it. I used to be obsessed with like hackers and stuff, so I started coding when I was like 13. Doing like HTML, which is just like the framework of web code, basically. I started learning that when I was 13. Built my first little website, just coded it on a local on my computer as a HTML file. Added a bit of CSS in there, and that kind of taught me the A's and B's. And then I sort of dropped it for a few years, and a mate of mine made a bit of money doing dropshipping, which is like a business model where you basically sell products without actually touching them. So the idea was you set up a Shopify store, so that's like a website, and you find a product through like the Chinese marketplace, and then you basically build a brand around this product. So you take all the images and videos you can find off the internet, and you build a brand around it, build all the ads, and then you run like social media ads, like Facebook ads, through to your Shopify store. You make a sale, you buy the product, send it to the person's address, and then you keep the profit. I didn't like this model at all, but it taught me so much, because it taught me kind of like the basics of websites and like SEO and stuff like that. And then obviously the branding side, having to create a brand, logos, colors, fonts, all that stuff. And then the advertising, obviously building the creatives, learning how to do copywriting with like hooks, offers, so like hook, benefits, call to action was kind of like the framework back then. And yeah, it taught me so much, and as much as it wasn't the most ethical business model, because you basically like pretending as if you're like this brand, when in fact you're just a kid on a computer that's found a product in China and slapped a logo on it. But not even on the product, just like on the ads. But yeah, no, it taught me quite a lot, and I didn't make a lot of money doing it, but I did it for a good couple of years. I think my only really relatively successful venture with dropshipping was a dog bed business. But yeah, that kind of got me into it, and then I thought, you know what, I like this stuff, and I have an interest. I clearly have an interest in like marketing, so I went off to uni and did marketing. And thankfully, where I went to uni up in Lancaster, they they had a really good computer science school, and I was able to select modules in computer science. So I did coding, like web application coding and stuff at uni, which kind of picked up from my original knowledge when I was 13, and obviously sharpened it up. And I learned like JavaScript. I had like a lot of exams on it. Quite basic stuff, but it taught me the foundations. And then a mate of mine at uni did Webflow, so he had a web design business, and at the time I was playing around with WordPress, because I kind of thought that was the one to go for. I actually tried to get a client on WordPress that I did an internship at, and it went so badly, just purely because I just didn't have a clue what I was doing. I sent like a mock-up of loads of like images of templates. I didn't even have like a portfolio site. But yeah, and then my mate that did Webflow, I had a look at his business and was like, this is really cool. And I went home and I was absolutely fascinated. So I looked into Webflow, had to play around with it, and I could just really see the application of how to run a business using Webflow. It's so well made for people that just want to stack their clients. So yeah, I got into Webflow. I spent the final year of my university basically just like doing the bare minimum at uni and focusing all my time on Webflow tutorials. So mostly There's a guy on YouTube, I'll link it below, called Bring Your Own Laptop, a guy called Dan, I think. He is awesome. So I did like all of his Adobe tutorials, Webflow tutorials. He is awesome. And then I also did the Webflow University, not like all of them, but I did like the main ones, which kind of like gave me a good understanding. And then yeah, if you look at my other video that I just posted, that's when I started doing that process of like going through the local business magazine and circling businesses without websites and ringing them up. It was really scrappy, but it worked. Got me started, and then yeah, I ended up like meeting some people with like slightly bigger businesses, and I ended up doing their sites, and then they referred me, and then yeah, nowadays when I became a Webflow partner, so you have to do like an exam and have like a certain amount of websites in your portfolio at a certain level, just so that they can kind of like put the stamp saying like, you know what you're doing, we can class you as a partner. And then when you do become a partner, you get matched. So yeah, they had this like Webflow partner matchmaking thing where people will go to Webflow and saying I need a website, and then it will match with like partners. So I get emails all the time saying like this person's looking at getting a website done, and I've got an AI automation that like reads through it and then pings it straight back, like based on what they've said and the budget and everything, and it works. It works tremendously well. And then I have an enormous amount of private work. I have quite a lot of like private contracts just from my initial early stages of business that I still have. Mostly websites, some marketing, some SEO contracts, some AI chatbots, some AI automations, really simple automations, not like complicated stuff. But yeah, the reason I do a lot, like quite a bit of AI stuff, is because I can just see that's where the industry is going. I do think there's going to be a lot of room for web design for the next like. I don't even want to say it because I don't want to be quoted, but I think my business is safe for quite a while, until the day that a client can put exactly what they want into a single prompt. I don't think I should worry too much, and also I use AI heavily in my workflow, so you know, I'm able to do projects so quickly that you know I can lower the prices and do more volume. Which I think makes me more competitive. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into it, and now, as I said, just Webflow partner and referrals and contracts. That's kind of where my business comes in. And like we're booked up now till, I mean, realistically we're booked up till January, but unofficially we're booked up till kind of like June next year. We just haven't like got the deposits paid yet, so we're not like, I'll never class it as like booked in unless the deposit's been paid, but we've got deposits paid up until January, more February really. But yeah, it's great. It's a great business, and you know, I went to uni and then I worked as a marketing executive for a load of businesses, and that's when I started doing websites for the bigger businesses, because it was actually the ones that I worked for, just to sort of like help my marketing be more effective. And yeah, that's really just how it took off. But if anyone's thinking about getting into this, I highly recommend it. Just go throw yourself into a load of like tutorials on Webflow. If you're going to do Webflow, also do something with like Adobe or Canva, because you need to be able to create like branding, like logo, just even like logos and like images to the right image size. Understanding formats, so like AVIF and WebP are like the lightest formats. You want SVGs because they're like scalable vector graphics. Yeah, there's a lot to learn, but this is just a bit of a video about how I kind of got to where I am now as founder of Loon. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to try and devote this channel to being like actually hands-on useful advice for running like a web design, Webflow specifically business. I think I can potentially help a lot of people. I'm hoping that, you know, through this I might be able to get more work in, because like people will see my tutorials and they'll see that I'm a Webflow partner. But for the people that, you know, don't have a business or whatever, you're just getting free knowledge for nothing. Like I'm not here to sell a course or sort of, you know, lure you down a path to then go, right, if you actually want to learn the final bits, this is going to be X amount. Like, it's not going to be like that. It's always going to be free. As you'll see, I've got a Gumroad, which is in my last video. I'll link it in this description. But that's got like some free resources, like my processes, including proposals, onboarding, stuff like that. And also like my initial sales pitch. I also have current sales pitches that I'm going to upload, but I'm going to do a more in-depth video on like how I run my business now, and some more kind of like expert or advanced processes. But yeah. Anyway, I'm going to end the video there. I hope you enjoyed it. More videos to come. Thank you.